Gather close so you can hear Rick talk, everybody. Step right up to the tuna. Don't be afraid, they're not going to bite anymore.
Our host here is Rick, manager of Pasco here in Boston. He's going to talk to us a little bit about how they turn yellowfin tuna and ahi tuna, or big eye tuna, into money. Tell us a little bit about your business model.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. You're probably seeing us on our worst day only because we didn't get any tuna shipments or sword shipments in today. We've got fish that I brought out from the cooler that I kind of picked over, so we get to show you the low end today instead of the high end like we sell Foley. We've got some fish laid out here. What we do is we bring the fish in, put them on pallets, bring them over here. We'll do a tail cut and a core. As you can see, we've got them laid out right here, and that'll give us an idea of what the grade of the tuna will be. So before the fish come in, usually in the morning, we're on the phone. We're calling Mike at Foley and saying, okay, we've got tuna coming in. We know their spec, fancy, high-end 2+. Based on averages, we'll know we're probably going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on how many fish we have coming in. And Paul will then come in. We'll spec out some tunas for him. He'll give the once over, see what the tails and the cores look like, and then put his tag on it, and off we go. Same thing with swordfish. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to show you, but sword will do the same thing. Put them on pallets, bring them over here, do a tail cut to get an idea of the bloodline. Foley will look for a nice, tight red bloodline, the meat texture, that type of thing. Overall quality of the fish, is it firm? Is the belly nice and clean? So we'll be able to, what's nice is with the fish is here, Paul comes in, he knows what he's looking for, we compare, and we work on, pricing is another thing. If the guys next door and down the street have the same animals, we're always trying to fight for the business and so forth, so there's always some negotiation that goes on and so forth. We have one fish right here that we're kind of proud of. It's graded a 1, it was yesterday. If we can pass this around, take a look at the color of the meat on the fish. This is what we're looking for. Also on the core, right down here, you can see the color. The bloodline is a little on the darker side, but also if you hold that into the light, you'll be able to see the clarity of the fish and so forth. So,
Do you mind taking a fresh pour in just to show them the process?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey, Alex, could you assist us? This is Alex. He's our receiver. He will prep all the fish, make sure they're washed down. He'll do the tails and the cores, so that when it's time to grade the fish, we can come out and make an assessment. We'll do this one again, and we'll also do this one. We'll get to show you the one we're proud of over here, and this one right here, which is graded a number 3, that we're not very proud of, but we'll be able to, we're direct importers, so somebody will, one of our boats will call and say, we've got some fish for you. We take all the fish, which means we're going to get 1s, we're going to get pluses, we're going to get 2s, we're going to get 3s. And thank goodness there's a buyer for everything, because you have to take the good with the bad. As you can see right here, this is not very appetizing. This is what we call like a brownie or a number 3. Not in the restaurants as your raw in the middle tuna. Tuna salad, possibly, whatever they do with it, just to get rid of it, essentially. Cook it, don't have to worry about eating it raw.
So what makes the difference? Why is this one like that and why is that one like that?
Well, there are fish that are caught at the beginning of the trip. There are fish that are caught at the end of the trip.
If that was brought into the shore the day it was caught, it would be like that?
Yes. Yeah, also depending on how it's handled. See, the bigger fish right here cool down slower. Okay. So the meat itself may not have cooled down properly. There is Yes, you will see that if the fish are taken care of properly. This still looks nice and fresh, but obviously the handling was not probably as good as some of the other fish. It's possible that they were catching a lot of fish at once and it wasn't intended to, right off, and this was caught, at a slower time.
Do you know if these are off the same boat?
I don't. Same vendor, but we don't know if they're off the same boat.
So what would change the fat content from one to another?
What they're eating mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
like
pretty much, if they're from the same boat, if they're caught on the same day,
Yeah.
fat content will be the same.
generally yellowfin tuna. We're not looking for fat. It's the big eyes that have the fat content. These are all yellowfins right here from the Maldives. So occasionally you'll see some fish that come through with the fat in them that are yellowfins. Primarily they're big eyes. And that's what we sell the True World Foods, the sushi guys, and that's what they're looking for, fat. They command a higher price, but generally speaking, when it comes to yellowfin, colorfin.
So today you're giving that a grade of?
3, 4, 5, whatever.
Love
If it's a buck, it's on the truck, right?
Again, it's a 1 is your top end. We have the next grade down will be a 2+, and that's a fresh, high quality fish. Bloodline is sharp on that. The color is good, but it doesn't have the fat content. Talk about it may not be attractive to the sushi buyer. It doesn't have that sheen necessarily, or as much sheen on it. So the difference between a 1 and a 2+ in today's market, $1.50.
$1.50 to 2. Yeah.
So something like
$8,
$8,
$8,
$6.50.
$8, $6.50, $6.75. Yep.
Okay. You go down a notch from a 2+ to a 2. And to me, at least, what Paul told me is once the bloodline's starting to turn, the color may still be good, but the bloodline's not quite as sharp.
Yeah,
Upgrade to a 2.
Yeah, we'll also call those good 2s. Yeah, there's a
2G.
There's a 2G. Then you go down to the 2, which is tending toward 3. So it's all it's based on who you're selling. We have our customers. A 2+ to one guy would not be a 2+ to the Foley people, if you know what I mean. 2+ is a grade, but there are certain people that think they're buying 2+s, but they may be buying 2Gs.
What Rick is pointing out is that this is a lot more of an art than a science. And there's a lot of subjectivity in it. And again, the same way I said to you guys when we were grading the cod fillet this morning is you've got to have a good sense of what's your criteria going to be, what's your reject criteria going to be. So Paul knows from years of doing this what the fish is going to look like in 24 hours if it's still in our plant, and what it's likely to look like in 3 days on our customer's plate. So he has pretty rigid mental criteria about what he's looking for and what he'll accept right back to the plant.